From the Bob Mills Weather Center, Oklahoma weather expert, Cassie Heiter.
We've had some storms roll through the metro, and now they're just off to the east. But Val and Amy Castor, they've been out since early this morning, and they've seen at least some tree limbs down up near Perkins. And Perkins had a 79-mile-an-hour wind gust earlier this morning. Val, go ahead and give us an update.
Yeah, so that's pretty strong winds. And so right now we are on the north side of Perkins. This is Highway 33, and this is one of several areas that we've seen with tree damage. You could see small to medium-sized limbs were just ripped off of these trees over here and scattered out onto the road. And we went into Perkins, trash cans blown around, that kind of stuff. We will keep you updated. Back to you, Cassie.
So much, Val. Let's go ahead and go to Links 1. I'm going to kind of show you where these severe storms are right now. So we're still talking about eastern Payne and northeast Lincoln County, but the severe storms, at least the strongest part of these storms, now just moving off to the east. But they started way out to the west in New Mexico late last night, early this morning, and now they've made their way, or they're trying to make their way at least, into eastern Oklahoma. So here we go. We still have some severe storms. There's just so much rain with these, quite a bit of lightning. At times we're getting some small hail, but the bigger story with these particular storms has really been these strong wind gusts coming in out of them. But now the strongest part of the storm really over Bristow and down towards Welty. But you can see where Val is. He's kind of on the backside because that's where we had that really strong wind gust. Lincoln County's also seen a couple of really strong wind gusts so far. We've seen about a 75-mile-an-hour wind gust near Wellston, and also near Chandler, a 66-mile-an-hour wind gust. So still quite a bit of wind. Hail detector, that's come down in size a little bit. We've seen a lot of dime-sized hail reports, but it looks like maybe still a little spot where we could see up to quarter-size hail. That's going to be very isolated down near Sparks. But the strongest part of these storms with the wind, that is now just blowing east of Bristow. But here's what our mesocyte sites have seen. So there's that 79-mile-an-hour wind gust up near Perkins, but we also have that 58 near Breckenridge, and lots of 30s and 40s across the west. And right now the winds have come down, but still obviously a little breezy. We've got a 35 or so here in Oklahoma City, and because of the stronger wind gust as the storms blew in, we're now down some power outages here in near Stillwater, about 600 really in Payne County, but 1,500 up in Garfield and 300 now in Oklahoma County. And that's not good. Hopefully we can get those fixed pretty quickly, because the heat, it is on, and that's starting today. We've got that heat advisory, and that will likely last for the next few days as temperatures climb into the upper 90s and low 100s. But because of the rain, temperatures are being held down right now, so that's a good thing. This is our Guthrie camera, but our Lucky Star Skycam network, 72 degrees with the wind out of the north-northeast at 18 miles an hour. Dew points in the upper 60s, so where we currently have had the rain and storms move through here recently, temperatures in the upper 60s and low 70s. But we already have those low to mid 80s showing up across the south with dew points well into the 70s. The heat index is already a factor basically along the Red River, with it already feeling more like the low to mid 90s. We're not the only ones dealing with this. Of course, Texas completely covered in those heat advisories and excessive heat warnings. And I expect to see a little bit of that as we get into the next couple of days. So the heat dome, it's in full force over the next few days. Now, as we get into the weekend, we're going to start to break this pattern up a little bit more. We're going to have at least a couple more chances of rain and storms, a front moving through by Saturday night, and it does look like temperatures will eventually become more seasonal by the end of the weekend and into next week, with temperatures dropping down into the upper 80s and lower 90s for highs, which is a lot more normal. But today, looking for a high of about 98 degrees in Oklahoma City, but low 100s all across the west and across the south, mid and upper 90s to the north. Storms coming to an end off to the east here eventually this afternoon, but after about 4 o'clock, additional storms firing in the Panhandle. Just a moderate chance for that right now, but later this evening and into tonight, there's still a chance some of those storms will develop across the north. They're going to make their way across the Kansas and Oklahoma border, with about a moderate threat that some of those storms could become severe. As far as the tornado zone is concerned, it's overall going to be a very low tornado threat, but primarily that's going to stay confined to the northwest and the Panhandle. As far as wind gusts are concerned, along the border, we could still see wind gusts over 80 with up to tennis ball size hail, mainly in the northwest and also the eastern Panhandle. Temperatures tonight dropping down into the 70s. Tomorrow, high of about 104 degrees in Oklahoma City, only dropping a few degrees. So dangerous heat rather, at least through Thursday, but by Friday we're only in the upper 90s. We finally get a little bit of a break this weekend. We'll be right back.